Source wants to know that you can do it without money first and that you're still going to have fun and still feel abundant along the way. And not that you get desire without money, but really, desire is just sometimes we equate it with goal, like actual goal. But really, the desire is just the feeling you think the goal is going to give you. So, Source wants you to know that you can access that feeling without the money you think it takes to get to the goal. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. Abundance is just a mindset, and it's actually not equated with money at all, though we can equate abundance and money, abundant money, together a lot. It's a little different. And whenever you can understand that and actually just get in the energetics of abundance, money can be your best friend. And there's a lot that goes into it, but it's also really simple. So, like I was saying at the very beginning, Source wants to know that you can do it for free, or wants you to know that you can do it for free and that you will. So, take gardening, for instance. Yeah, I feel like in some instances, like you can definitely make gardening cheap and garden cheaper. And right now, it's basically that everything new that I'm doing with gardening has to be free. I did obviously buy seeds and stuff this year, but I already had a lot of stuff, and I'm just learning to be really resourceful because I had kind of a gardening budget for the year, and then I had to get an HVAC. And it made me really sad for a second, but then I quickly realized, like, oh, I can still do all the gardening I want with what I have. And that's what I need to do. I need to show a Source that even without money, I'm still going to have a fun gardening year. This is just a small example, but it really almost did trip me up of like, I'm not going to be able to, sorry, my cat's hair. I'm not going to be able to have like the perfect gardening that like experience that I wanted, but ultimately I'm still going to have a really fun gardening experience. And once I sort of got over that and got over myself, I ended up gardening last night. Just digging up a little space. I got some plants from my friend who dug them out of her garden, so they were free. And I transplanted some herbs that had come back up from last year, again, free. And as I was digging through this plot, I actually found, and I'll probably take a little clip and show you guys some stones under the soil. So I dug up the stones so that I could plant plants there. And just for now ended up making the stones a border. I might do something else with it, with them, but now I have cool like fairy stones that I can make a path or something. I'm sure there's a lot of stones around here, honestly, but just getting my hands in the dirt and feeding into the abundance of what I already had instead of being caught up on like, oh, I don't have my garden budget anymore this year, made me realize that I just like digging around and just like moving things around. I actually have a lot of plants here that were improperly planted from previous owners just in terms of sunlight. Like I have a peony that's not getting full sun right now, and it's a lot stunted than another peony that I see. So I can dig that one up and put it somewhere else, and it's going to have more abundance. And there's just a lot that I can already do, right? So I'm in the mindset of like, it doesn't matter my financial situation, I'm still going to garden and have fun, you know? And there's like ways with any goal and desire. And I'm still going to garden and have fun because the feeling is just gardening. It's just getting my hands in the dirt and making something beautiful and like figuring out how plants work because I just love that. Like that's the feeling, and I can still access that even without money. And like that's kind of what I'm realizing. And yeah, it's just, I know the goal of like really perfect cool garden will come. It'll probably take years, you know? I mean, it takes a while for people, and even then there's always going to be more work to do or something to shift or something to change. Like, that's something that I love about gardening in general, is like you're always learning and there's always something to do. There's always something to respond to. And so that's just one example of like you can still be in this abundant mindset even if you don't have the finances for your goals. And I think through that you get to be rewarded with the finances to do it. Like, I am under full belief that if I just keep having fun, like the finances for the garden that I want will come. But I'm not going to let it stop me from having fun right now. And I think that's what Source wants you to know. I have another example with traveling. So I traveled solo at 18 around Europe and Southeast Asia for about 6 months. And I didn't have a lot of money whenever I left. I did work for a while and I had some money, but honestly, I was just doing everything that I could to make it work. So to tap into that abundance was a lot of working like for accommodation, working at hostels, working at coffee shops for food, or like however however it worked. Um, and so I was able to really elongate my trip. And part of that elongation was going somewhere cheaper. So while I was in Europe, I realized, I only had X amount of time in Europe on the daily budget that I had, or I could fly to Thailand and sort of have like 2 more months or something based on my budget and stuff, and potentially work there. I didn't end up working there, but anyway, so I did that, and I like was able to do that with little finance, and just under the guise of like, I'm just going to make this work. And I really don't think I worried much about money. It was just like, I'm going to make this work because this is what I want to do. And these are the connections I want to have. And of course, during that time, it was really fun. Like, I was just having a lot of fun all the time. I was meeting a lot of people and experiencing this crazy new thing that I didn't know anyone else who had done that before in my small town. So it was great. And then this is where I think that eventually, if you're showing Source that you can have fun without the finances that you think you need, like in that scenario, Source was able to provide finances for me to later, and this was like several years down the road, maybe like 5 or 6 years later from this gap year traveling experience, I was able to fund a 4 month road trip around the US, and stay in really luxurious places. And with my partner, I was able to take, at the time, I had a cat and a dog. And on the road trip, we got our second cat. So I was able to travel with my animals, get a new animal. Like, it was a really luxurious like time. And it almost just felt like, one, I was getting into this space to purchase my dream home. And so staying in all these luxurious places was really able to anchor me into what it would feel like to have a dream home. It would still take a little bit before that came in, but I was able to tap into that feeling. I had basically a spiritual awakening there because I was away from like any and all distractions, because it was just me and my partner, and I was making new friends in those new headspaces, and I was just staying in really amazing places. And I just remember thinking every day, like, this is what I wish I could have done. I loved the traveling I did when I was 18, but I mean, one day there's going to be a day that I can go back to Europe and have an experience like that where I can just stay in really nice places. Because, I thought about van life for a little bit. but I actually don't think that I would really like it because, yeah, there's elements that appealed to me, but I realized a lot of the elements that appealed was just the prices. So it really just became like, I can do this, but right now I have the ability to travel luxuriously, and I'm still just staying in a smaller mindset because that's what I feel like I should be doing, and I just wanted to experience luxury travel actually. So that was really fun. And it felt like a gift from, my 18-year-old self who was like, I'm going to travel no matter what and still do it. And like, I obviously still traveled in between that time, sometimes on a budget, sometimes not, but travel has always been top of mind for me. So it's just always constantly showing that you can get into the travel state even if you don't have the finances to be luxurious. Even now, like, I haven't been able to travel since Dream House getting, it's just getting used to new pricings and stuff like that. When you get a new house and stuff happens and whatnot. But the house itself feels like the newness, but now I'm getting to the point where I do want to introduce travel again in my life, and call that in again. But even now, same as the gardening, I can go to the city or go to a hike or go somewhere and like get into a traveler's mindset, because honestly, it's actually a bit easier for me to do that now since the 4-month road trip, because we spent a lot of time out west and in the desert in New Mexico and in the mountains and stuff. And while all of those places have their own unique beauty, where I'm at in Kentucky is so luscious comparatively. Like, it's so green, and it's a different color of green, and it's just so vibrant. Like, I almost wanted to move out west, but as soon as I started seriously thinking about it, I thought about how much I would miss the lusciousness of Kentucky's forests and woods, and I realized I wanted to live in the woods. And so I really can like think back to my trips in New Mexico and stuff like that, where there wasn't this beautiful abundant green, and like get into the mindset of people that I've met who like had been here and were like, oh my gosh, it's so green there. Like, I can get into that traveler's mindset, because really it's just perspective shift that we're after whenever we go traveling. And there's nothing like it, but I think you can tap into that energy even without the finances. So it's almost this like, I know it's going to happen. I'm going to do everything that I can energetically to feel into it. But I'm not like, I don't feel like it's out of my reach just because of my finances, I guess. And honestly, whenever you do this, I feel like so much within your finances is going to up because is yeah, open up, because your abundance channel is opening up, because you're just realizing how much you can do without it. Because, and this might honestly be a longer chat today, but because after my road trip, being in that luxurious feeling for 4 months and being able to really hone in on this like spiritual awakening and just have fun, have a lot of fun, and everything, I ended up having my highest grossing month ever, like 2 months after that, because I was just in that state of abundance a lot. And like, I really do, I feel like I learned a lot during my time on that trip. And yeah, it just helped me tap into the abundance feeling that, and it was outside of money. Like, I was using money to afford this luxurious thing, but I didn't really attach any of that to money. And I still did a lot of like non-financial, like I did so many hikes. Like, I don't know. It's just being able to tap into that energy And I believe that's what led me to that month. And that, because I was really using a lot of the road trip to call in my dream home and be able to tap into the feeling of the dream home on that trip, the highest grossing month that I had 2 months later was able to like help a lot with the down payment of my now house. So it like all plays hand in hand. And there's so much that can go into it. I mean, if you have ever had a really high month in this work and on your journey, and you're like, oh my gosh, how can I repeat that? How can, like, it's probably because you attach too much importance to actually having that month, and you don't have a channel for it to go. Like, whenever I had that, I was really channeling in that I wanted it for something. You know, money wants somewhere to go. So it was really easy. Like, I mean, truly, I had a lot of ease calling that in because there was so much like energy going to where I wanted it to go. And I don't know if you've watched, I believe it was my Are You Experiencing the Purge, where I talk about the jellyfish. Well, that's not to do with this, but basically I describe how, you know, you have to dip your hand into the stream of money further. You can't just like try to cup it out and like hoard it away. Like, it's just gonna fall through your hands. It's gonna fall through your fingertips. You can't hold that much, but you can just dip your hands into the stream and like call in more. Especially if you have a channel for it, you have directions that you want it to go. You don't just want it for savings. You don't like, all that is good and fine, but money loves to be part of the currency and part of the current of your life and bring you abundance, as long as you're already having abundance and that you know that you will have abundance with or without this thing. Again, like, I know I've talked about this a little bit before, but the dream house that I got, that highest month, that was 2022, and I still wasn't able to get my dream house until 2024 because I was placing too much importance on the house meaning something about me. And so I had to detach from the house meaning anything about me, from the house allowing me to have the life that I really wanted. Like, I pictured farm, I pictured forest, chickens, baking bread, like all this stuff. And for some reason I was like, I can't do any of these things until I'm at this house. And it wasn't until I let all of that go and was like, I'm actually just going to feel abundant now and not like need to have the thing, the house, in order to access all of those feelings and desires that I actually wanted. So I got chickens in the city. I started baking bread in the city. There was like a farm walk, like a public farm down the road that I started walking at every day to like anchor in farm energy for myself. For that. So it's like, if you place too much importance on any particular thing, money also being a part of that, it Source just wants you to know that you can still experience the feeling you're after for free. And if you really can tap into that, and actually, like, free isn't even like, free is an abundant energy. It's just knowing that you can access it without it being tied to anything, without it being tied to the goal of the dream house, without it being tied to this income month. And I will say that I have felt more abundant in months that I've made significantly less, simply by knowing now that it wasn't the money that made me abundant. I am abundant. I am abundance. I create abundance by creating energy in my life and enjoying the things in my life. At the time, I think whenever I had that abundance, like, yes, I traveled and like did all this fun things, but specifically in that month, in that moment, I don't feel like I was really connected to social things. I wasn't connected to really any passions. I wasn't following any passions. Yeah, I kind of felt like I had no friends, and it was because I was attaching so much of my worth at the time to the money and the job and everything like that, and not really realizing that none of that actually mattered in the grand scheme of how I feel every day. And so whenever you break it all down, yeah, I think it really is that Source wants you to know that you can feel abundant with no money. And when you do, and you truly feel that, the money you need for the projects you want and the goals you want and the things that you desire will come. So, like, don't wait to paint your house because you're waiting on your dream house, or, you know, if you're renting and you genuinely can't paint your house, you know, finding the renter friendly things that you can do. I know there's like a million and one renter friendly decor accounts on Instagram, or probably YouTube. I just see them mostly on Instagram, but you know, finding those things, finding your goal. This is the goal. Finding the feeling of the desire under the goal. I want to really love my space. I want it to feel decorative. I want plants. I want this. You know, there's just so many things you can actually do. You could probably go volunteer at a farm and see if you can't get some plants for your volunteer work. Oh, and learn about how to care for them. You can ask your neighbors, maybe talk to your neighbors, like, talk to your friends. Like, there's just so many ways that you can find it. And whenever you become resourceful and figure out how to do it without attachment to money, I just really have a strong feeling that Source will provide the money that you need for the abundance you're after within the goal at some point. Like I said, my luxurious travel, that wasn't for 5 years. Like, there's no timeline. I still got to experience it, right? And like, I know maybe this isn't the year for the perfect garden, but I'm still gonna have a lot of fun. I'm still gonna learn a lot. I'm still gonna replant and like plant all the seeds that I did get earlier this year in the winter, and just be happy with that. And maybe it's not a few years until, yeah, my perfect garden, but I don't know. That's just coming really strong. And I know money can be a sensitive topic for a lot of people, but I really deeply think it's energetics. And I know there's a lot to it, and I know I'm not even like covering the full scope of it. And like, obviously, it is survival, it is all that, and I feel like in ways that is different energetics with it. So really today's talk is mostly about the goal, like the desire of a specific goal that's past, you know, surviving. And truly, if you can tap into the fact that you can figure out what you want for free, I feel like, I don't know, it just makes you realize how much fun you can have. And it almost brings you back to this inner child, like, um, what would I do if sort of energy that I feel like kids are just so gifted with and comes to them so easily. Or like, oh, I'm just gonna go in the woods and play with a stick and create an entire world, an army, and like, I don't know, like, they're just so imaginative. And I do feel like it taps you a little bit more into your imaginative side, and that can be really good for you and fun. And through that comes creative ideas, comes business ideas, and maybe it just happens to be the business idea that pays for the thing that you want, that you already have the feeling to. So any goal is just you requesting an experience, and the journey is like figuring out how you feel the feeling of what you think the goal is going to give you before you actually get the goal, and moving from that energy. So I think that's all I have for you today, and happy May 1st. It's crazy. Yeah, I think we're on day 22, but my original goal was 30. I think I'm going to try to go all of May, every day in May. So if you want to be a part of this journey, please subscribe. And also, the kitchen sink series, the live group that I was running, is now over, which means that it's now available for you guys as a self-paced audio like course. So it's 21 days of audios that go into self-trust that you're meant to listen to. It's called the kitchen sink series because you're meant to do it while you're doing the dishes, because part of building the self-trust is doing a daily action that really sets you up for success the next day. And yeah, so that's available now for you guys to go as self-paced. And I have some other offers that I'm working with people one-on-one now, basically about all of this. So be sure to check that out. And yeah, leave a comment if you don't know what to say. Leave a butterfly emoji, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.